jury finds a Kimball man guilty of killing his girlfriend following a 4-day trial in the Southern Panhandle. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, it took less than 90 minutes for a Kimball County District Court jury to come back with guilty verdicts on 4 of 5 felony charges against a Kimball man charged with killing his girlfriend. 20 witnesses took the stand this week in the trial against 37-year-old William Serrano, who was convicted on Thursday for fatally shooting Tessa Gehring in the evening hours of January 3rd, 2022. Serrano was found guilty on charges of manslaughter, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and 2 counts of attempted terroristic threats. However, the jury found him not guilty on a charge of attempted first-degree murder. He faces up to 50 years in prison when he's sentenced on May 2nd. Well, a 54-year-old Scottsbluff woman accused of burglarizing local storage units was back in court this week. Julie Michael was arrested in late February after her vehicle was caught on surveillance breaking into 2 units at Scottsbluff Storage. She was back in court on Tuesday to answer to charges of burglary, possession of burglar's tools, and possession of a controlled substance, and had her case bound over to district court. Michael is scheduled to be arraigned on the 4 felony charges next Friday, March 24th. And last October, Scottsbluff community leaders broke ground for the final phase of downtown Scottsbluff's 18th Street Plaza. Now that there has been milder weather, crews have been making significant progress on this phase, which includes a stage, additional seating, and beautification along the walkways. On Wednesday, masons were laying the bricks for the bluffs from last year's fundraiser at the base of the stage. Public Works Director Mark Bohl says the new stage will have power running directly to it, which will help when live bands take the stage for events such as bands on Broadway. Mark Crispin Trucking of Gehring has the $483,000 contract for the final phase, and the project's estimated completion date is early June. We'll have more news right after this.
Swipe right, swipe left, endlessly searching. Finding the perfect match isn't always perfect, but it can be when it comes to finances. Nora found the perfect business loan. Jenny opened her first savings account. Grammy loves her checking account. We found a match for Wilson Farms. The Sandersons were matched with a mortgage. Regardless of your financial situation, Platte Valley Bank will match you with the perfect solution. Find your match at Platte Valley Bank.
Life Care promises us that we are looked after and taken care of properly.
If I didn't have life care, I would be probably scared to death about having enough money for when I got older or when I got sick.
Moving in here was an easy decision and in fact a no-brainer. I looked at it as actually buying long-term care insurance and in retrospect a good move.
One of the things that convinces me that we did the right thing is no matter what happens, we will constantly be taken care of.
The whole thing is just vital because you don't have to be worried about what's ahead for you. It's there, it's in black and white, and that's reassuring.
This is home. It has been from the day I moved in.
Welcome back. This week, Nebraska U.S. Senators Pete Ricketts and Deb Fischer, as well as Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, introduced bipartisan legislation to allow for year-round E-15 sales. Ricketts says high costs of living are costing American families hundreds of dollars a month, and we owe it to them to use every tool we have to save them money at the pump. He continues that Nebraskans know year-round E-15 sales have endless benefits like saving families money, benefiting the environment, and supporting Nebraska farmers and producers. Representatives Adrian Smith and Angie Craig have also introduced companion legislation in the House of Representatives. And Nebraska Chief Justice Mike Heavican took time this week to recognize the outstanding trial court staff from across the state. Many roles go into having an efficient judicial branch, from bailiffs, record courts, and court reporters, just to name a few. On Wednesday, Heavican read a proclamation declaring its trial court week in Nebraska and concluded to thank everyone who works together for the greater good.
So proud of all of our trial court staff and of what goes on in our trial courts. You truly do make access to justice as available as you possibly can for all of Nebraska's citizens. So thank you very much, and thanks to all of our trial court staff all around the state of Nebraska.
Receiving special recognition during the ceremony were Kearney County Clerk Magistrate Laura Tobiasen and Lancaster County Clerk of the District Court Troy Hawk.
Welcome to Kelly's, home of the Valley's best selection of wine, spirits, and beer. Whether you're brand loyal to the tried and true brew or really enjoy trying something different and new, Kelly's has something for everyone. Family owned and operated and right on your way on West 27th Street in Scotts Bluff. Kelly's Liquor. If you can't find it at Kelly's, it's not worth drinking.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
This is KNEB.TV weather from the KNEB Storm Center, your trusted source for weather.
Clear skies are going to be across the region as we go through the evening hours. Temperatures falling down into the teens as winds start to decrease as well. It is going to be another cold day again tomorrow before we start to see conditions warm up Sunday and into early next week. Spring officially arrives on Monday, and temps are at least going to be closer to normal next week. 41 for us all that we got to yesterday after a morning low of 20. And nothing in the rain gauge officially a trace out of this system. And we're well behind the normal here for the month of May. And we've had just that 1/10 of an inch of snowfall that came from early on in the week. Temperatures so far this month, we've been generally speaking in the 30s and 40s for the most part. We did have one day back on the 5th and then 3 days early this week where we had above normal temperatures. And precip has been very hard to come by at all. And as far as the precip chances, they stay pretty small until we get into Tuesday, especially Tuesday night, and then only isolated activity into Wednesday, but we could actually see some rain and thunderstorms by those days. Winds are going to come down from where they've been the last couple of days. We'll still be breezy at times, but not as bad as what we were originally, or what we've had here the last few days. Look at the cold temperatures. 9 in Fargo, 10 in Sioux Falls. Yeah, it is very cold up there. Teens filtering into the northeastern part of the state. A big swath of 20s, then 30s, and even near 40 in McCook. As you look here across the region, it's mostly 30s, 20s in the high country, and 20s from Gordon over towards Valentine. And a very strong day of winds. Still have northwesterly winds, making it feel absolutely raw. And we've had gusts approaching 50, and we've had still have gusts over 40 miles an hour. That's dropping those wind chills down into the teens and 20s. Tonight, we're going to be dealing with a few clouds overhead. Otherwise, it's just going to be windy and chilly overnight tonight. Skies are going to clear out and winds are going to decrease. Tomorrow, it's going to be a sunny day. We're not going to see as windy either. So the sun will be out. It'll feel warmer, and it won't be warmer, but it'll feel a little warmer out there. With those winds calmer, it will definitely not feel as cold as it felt today. Overnight lows tonight expected to be in the teens, single digits. Gordon at 4, Hyannis at 8, 9 in Valentine. Otherwise, teens for most of us. Highs tomorrow, again in the 20s and 30s, maybe near 40 in a few areas. But that's all. And we're going to be very similar to tomorrow as we were to today. Clear skies, windy this evening. Winds are going to decrease. Tomorrow, the winds are going to be down. It'll be sunny, still only about 40 for a high. And then we'll be in the 50s on Sunday and Monday to start the first day of spring. Could see some late day storms, maybe even mixing with snow late in the day Tuesday. Otherwise, temps slide back into the 50s. Again, we'd ordinarily be 56 this time of year, so at least getting closer to normal for next week.
March is National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and today we're getting some details with Dr. Helen Fasania Updegraft. She is a gastroenterologist, and we're learning a little bit more about the role that this plays in the world we live in. Dr. Fasania, first of all, tell us a little bit more about what we're working with, especially when we talk about Black and African American populations.
Well, colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death in the United States in both African Americans and in Caucasians. So, in that regard, there isn't much of a difference there. However, we know that African Americans are less likely, for one reason or the other, to get screened for colon cancer. And because of that, they're more likely to die from colon cancer. And so there are actually more incidences of colon cancer deaths in the African American population in comparison to their white counterparts. And there are a number of things that we could do to prevent that from happening. It's just the key point that I would like people to remember is that colon cancer is very easily preventable. And we could reduce 90% of the colon cancer incidences and deaths just by early prevention, early detection.
Yeah, we've learned that 45 is the new 50. Why is that early screening so important?
Well, we have noticed over the years that younger and younger people are getting diagnosed with more advanced stages of colon cancer. And if you are diagnosed with an advanced stage, you just have fewer options available to you in terms of treatment. So it's really important to diagnose this early and hopefully before it turns into cancer. So what colonoscopy does, for instance, is it detects polyps, which are the precursors of colon cancer. And we're able to take out the polyps and completely eliminate that risk of colon cancer from that particular polyp. So colon cancer is one of those cancers that's it's fortunate in that we have such great prevention tools that we don't have available for other types of cancers. For instance, we don't have it for prostate cancer or breast cancer. We do have some screening measures for those cancers, but nothing like colonoscopy where you can actually go in and take out that precursor that can, unfortunately turn into colon cancer.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask you a little bit more about your work. Why do you do what you do?
Well, I do what I do because of this really important statistic. I mean, it is a really important thing to do a colonoscopy and prevent those cancers from forming. It's just such a common issue, and it doesn't just affect the elderly, it affects young people. And unfortunately, it disproportionately affects the African American community. And, that's my community. And so if I can do anything to make a difference, I mean, there are a lot of other things that happen in gastroenterology other than colon cancer, but this is certainly one of the main topics that we address. And if I can make a difference in that way, then my day is more fulfilled.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Fasania, what did we miss about this conversation that's important to mention?
I think, I did want to focus on that disproportionate uh, colon cancer rates in the African American population. And there's a number of reasons that happens. There is some mistrust of the medical community, you know, for historical reasons in the African American population. And so I just want to encourage primary care physicians to remember that and to encourage their patients to seek out, whether it's colonoscopy or other colon cancer screening measures. I want people also to be advocates for themselves. If your primary is not recommending that to you because there's other things that are going on with your health, and so there's a million and one things they're addressing, then you bring it up. Ask if you're a candidate and what screening measures might be best for you. There are a number of screening measures. It does not have to be colonoscopy. Having said that, colonoscopy is the best and the gold standard, and it's really the way to prevent and early detect those polyps that can be taken out. But of course, there are other tests, and the best test is really the one that you actually go ahead and do. So I would just encourage everyone to be an advocate for themselves. And then if you have any questions, or concerns, we're here, and we have a lot of physicians that would be happy to talk to you about that.
Absolutely. A wealth of information. Dr. Fasania, thank you so much for making time for this. We appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Logos in Gearing is the place to get all of your school spirit gear, personalized gifts, and promotional items for your business and employees, and banners for any special event. Logos is also the only place to stop for custom screen printing or embroidery. You can even design it yourself on their interactive website. Stop into Logos today. They'll design it, print it, and have it to you in no time. There's no job too big or small for Logos. That's Logos in Gearing.
Well, let's take a peek at what's happening on your weekend community calendar. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. Community strong with the people you know and trust.
You deserve to have a building that will last for generations. With more than 110 years of experience and thousands of satisfied customers, Morton Buildings is the industry leader you can trust. If you're planning for a garage, farm shop, horse barn, storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, there's no better time to buy. Contact your local Morton sales office or visit mortonbuildings.com to get started today.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you plan for tomorrow while you enjoy today. Our personalized trust services can help you do just that. You've worked hard to build your legacy, and you want to make sure that gets passed on for generations to come. We offer the professional guidance necessary to ensure that happens, according to your wishes. We pride ourselves in being friendly and professional while offering a highly tailored full line of trust and estate planning services to accommodate you. You belong here.
And finally tonight, a world-class sporting event will be taking place in Scottsbluff County for the next 2 summers. This week, USA Cycling announced that the inaugural Gravel National Championships will take place September 9th in Gering, Nebraska, with a $60,000 prize purse. Scottsbluff County Tourism Director Brenda Lacey says at a sports convention in January, she made contact with the directors for USA Cycling, who learned about the local Rubidoux Rendezvous bike race.
We had a request for proposal from USA Cycling, and of course my first call was to Charlie and to Aaron and to see if they were up for it. And since then, we've built a really nice local group who totally intends on blowing this out of the water and making it one of the best USA events in western Nebraska.
Gering Visitors Bureau Director Carla Needon-Streak says this opportunity will allow us to truly showcase the beauty of our area and what Nebraska Nice is all about.
We pledged USA Cycling and all the competitors in the Gravel National Championships that they'll experience a welcoming city with an energetic vibe and a rich cycling culture. So we're ready. Gering is ready. Scottsbluff County is ready. We're experienced in bringing in all the city departments and all the entities and a community of citizens and businesses and partners working together to make this inaugural event a great success.
Rubidoux Rendezvous organizer Aaron Rains will be helping with the Gravel National Championships and outlines the event.
As far as what we have to offer, obviously the gravel, 3/4 of a mile from downtown, you're on gravel roads, and you can be on gravel for endless amount of miles. And some of the racers are going to feel that way. The longest course is going to be 130 miles, and it's going to transit across, I think, 4 counties. Between here and Cheyenne County. So, that is the infrastructure that we have for this specific thing, and we've got an abundance of it.
So just how big of a deal is this? Gering Parks Director Amy Seiler says the prize purse alone will speak for itself.
It's the largest purse that they have ever offered in any of their race series. And I think that indicates how important it is, and they want the very best racers out here competing in this race.
Not only will the race itself be a big deal, but the local economic impact will be felt at our local hotels, restaurants, and businesses.
And obviously it will have a strong economic impact on all of our amenities and services, hotels and restaurants and nightlife and entertainment establishments. But the reality of it is what's most valuable for us as a community is that this is the first time the majority of those athletes will have been in Nebraska, western Nebraska, and in Gering and Scottsbluff County.
And this is going to be top notch. It's going to be really exciting for not only Gering but Scottsbluff as well, and Scottsbluff County as a whole. And I don't think that it's just going to be during race weekend, race week that we're going to have that economic impact. It's going to be for years to come. I think we have something really special to share here in western Nebraska, and people are going to want to bring their friends and family back here.
Seiler adds that as the host city, Gering is really fortunate to showcase its amenities that it has invested in over the years.
For this event, they will certainly be using the Civic Center. For the expo, they'll be using the Civic Center parking lot. We will be utilizing the plaza quite a bit for an assortment of things. We'll be utilizing Legion Park. We also have the facilities like the RV park. We have the grasslands that we most likely will be putting out there for people to reserve additional spaces for tent camping and for just van camping. That's what a lot of the racers will probably stay in or set up in if there aren't enough hotels available.
For more information about this event, you can go to visitgering.com and search gravel. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a safe and enjoyable St. Paddy's Day weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.